a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
Well, welcome to Tea Time. Miss Liz is here, and I have an incredible guest sitting in the back. I have Kim Van de San, and she's coming in from the Netherlands. That's right, we're traveling today. So we have some incredible stuff going on. We're going to be talking about her book, Flower of Love, her platform, and cards, all that good stuff. We're going to get you over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel first before we get into all of that good stuff. And then we have an incredible tea that is going to be being served today. And the tea today is teaching embodiment and ascensions. I hope I'm saying it right. If not, she's going to put it out there. You know how Miss Liz works. If she can't pronounce something, I get my guests to say it. So I want to get everybody over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel. Give that little doorbell a ring and be notified when all these incredible tea times go live. You can watch them at any time when you're ready to watch them. If you're at a ball game, if you're at a family gathering and you're a little bored, you can always turn on Tea Time and listen to Miss Liz, but don't tell the family that I've told you that. And if you're in your car, you're driving on a long trip, you can listen to these Tea Times. And there's tea times for everyone. So if one tea time doesn't resonate with you, the next one will. I guarantee I have a bunch for everyone. So let me get the disclaimer in there. Let me get Kim's bio out there, and let me get Kim in here so we can spill some good strong tea with you today. So the disclaimer is this Tea Time live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see my name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, the press release for July's guest is a little late this month. It is coming. It is working on getting processed. So stay tuned for that, Miss Liz. We'll share that after on Miss Liz's Facebook page and all her platforms. So be sure to check that out and get a lineup for July. Now, a little bit on my guests. Well, I got to meet Kim through another Tea Time guest. So from Paul Marwood, who was on Tea Time a couple months ago. You can also check his Tea Time out on the YouTube channel. But he's like, Liz, I have this incredible guest for you, and I swear you will enjoy having tea time with her. So Paul sent me Kim, and that's how I got to meet Kim. And you see, that's how we work. We all work together. So now a little bit on Kim. Kim is a visionary on a mission to guide millions in reconnecting with love to awaken their inner wisdom and divine spark. As a sacred architect, cosmetic channel, and sacred teacher, she empowers others to navigate rapidly changing times, manifest their deepest desires, and fulfill true purpose fueled by love. She's a two-time international best-selling author and founder of Flower of Love, Mystery School Lineage. Kim channels divine love, teaching from Earth's evolution. Her embodied wisdom fuels her compassionate mentorship, recognizing the transformational power within. Kim finds inspiration in nature and family moments, inspiring others to embrace their limitless potentials through love. And you can check out her book and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to get Kim in here and we're going to spill some tea with you. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. It's really an honor to be here, and I'm excited to share this sacred space with all of you. So thank you.
Well, it's an honor. And I was like, absolutely. And I love when my guests say, hey, you know what? I got a guest for you, Miss Liz, that you're going to enjoy. So again, thank you, Paul, for that.
He's
Paul,
such a
thank you.
beautiful soul and dear friend. So yes, really beautiful.
Well, if I believe right, you and Paul worked together on a book or
Yes.
something, right?
Yeah. Yes, like the
Yeah.
inspiration came Soul Love. It's about like it started as my podcast. So and through that the book came out. So yeah, there it's on this side. Yes, it's Soul Love. So both wrote a chapter in that beautiful book, and it's really empowering to see how all these stories come together. And yeah.
I always love when people collaborate together after working on a project together, right? Or
Yes.
they still promote that person and say, hey, check this person out,
Yeah.
check that person out. So,
Yes.
Kim, I'm going to take you back a little. So, who was Kim as a little girl and who is Kim now?
Kim, as a little girl, very curious about life and always feeling like there was something more than I could see or something more than I saw the grown-ups around me doing. And so I always have had this greater question. And yeah, throughout my life, there have been many pivotal moments where, like, my father died when I was very young, and that awakened this deep grief within me, but also this deep, like, okay, what is more in life than it opens you up when someone things like that, challenging things like that happens, it opens you also up to a greater questioning and a greater awakening to the truth that is within ourselves. So for me now, it's like I noticed like in my journey, and I think a lot of people tuning in can relate to that. I in a way started to copy the world around me, the people around me, and in that I neglected my needs and I neglected who I was and I like my voice, and in that you slowly start to dim your light and you slowly start to be more as everyone else than yourself. So there have been many pivotal moments throughout my life where my soul was calling me to awaken, and some were very challenging, but those were in the end, when I now look back, my most powerful moments, because it was my soul knocking on my door and saying, hello, you need to remember a part, or stop dimming your light, now it's time. And I needed a couple of those to be where I am today. But it's really like embracing every part of who we are. And I see like how I neglected so many parts, or how I judged so many parts, because I was not as everyone else. I was different. I felt different things. I noticed different things. And most of the things that I noticed were not per se things you could see, or like with the tangible understanding. So it was really me coming back to this deeper trust in myself, and to this deeper voice, and to this deeper knowing. And yeah, that sometimes goes beyond time and space. So it's really me claiming my uniqueness. And that's why what I now guide others in, because it's not per se that my truth is the truth, but I'm sharing what I've learned in my own journey, so others can awaken their light and can awaken their wisdom and like the world needs who we are in our essence, not all the layers that we have learned as conditioning, or like you need to be like everyone else, or that society wants you to be. I'm a young mom and married and all of that, but there are also a lot of labels in that as well. And it's really inviting us to come back, like, okay, who am I in everything? And if I don't want to be part of these labels, how can we be in this new earth way of truly being truthful to ourselves and our light and what we feel in ourselves, and also to the different roles that we have and the different. So I think I've become, in a way, like when I came to this earth, I was pure whole and I remembered everything, and then slowly I forgot, and now I'm back on this journey of remembering, and that is really beautiful.
So, Kim, do you think you're an old soul?
I think so. Yes, many lifetimes, and my soul really likes trial and error. So, and I think that's the powerful thing. Like we learn through our experiences, and in my whole life, I've always one of my mottos was, I rather regret what I did do than I didn't do. And it's not per se for everyone to say do everything, but it was really like we learn through our experiences. Just like in the last couple of years, me stepping more fully into my mission. It's not per se day one, it's perfect, or we are where we are, but by us saying yes to our inspiration, just like you, or many more than 300 episodes, but you in first time saying yes to this tea time and to these beautiful conversations and following that initial spark, and we grow through that. So it's really embracing, I think, the growth journey and everything that happens in between. And yeah, there are so many things to share about that, but we come closer to who we are, and in that it also becomes more easy, because then we don't have to be with our mind. It's really going back into the space of our heart and what we feel true to share with the world. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I got when I did my homework on you, Kim. I was like, I think she's an old soul. Like
Yes.
I felt connection right away because
Yeah.
my grandma said it all the time. She's like, "You're an old soul," like, and I was
Yeah.
like, I just don't belong here. Like I belong somewhere else. Like you always feel like you're out of your own body.
Yes.
Like you're not in the right place sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, and channeling it is something, especially if it brings confusion, right? Because then the fear comes in, and then
Yeah.
the self-doubt comes in, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm a little crazy here, maybe what the
Yes.
heck is
Yeah.
going on, right? And
Yes.
I love that you use the word different, because I love different. It's like
Yeah.
an onion, right? Everyone has a different layer. There's not one onion the same.
No.
Cut an onion. I suggest that to all the listeners out there. Go and grab an onion and cut it, but
Yes.
grab two onions and cut them and see if they're the same.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the same.
I love that.
You know,
Yes.
and that's what I got when I went and I said, "Oh my goodness!" It's like we talked in the back, and I said, "Oh,
Mm.
she has cards." Like I
Yes.
like to support the guests, and I like to buy their books and their products, and I'm like, "Oh, she has cards. Let's talk about the cards." So, let's talk about these cards. How did you create the cards, Kim?
It was really like me following my sacred yes. So it like a couple of years back, I channeled my book, and that was really. At first, I thought, okay, this is it. I felt this inspiration to follow this guidance, and my book came out. But it's really what I love when we say yes to these sacred initiations, when we say yes to the inspiration, new things unfold. So the next revolutionary step was that the book also launched a card deck, and it's really beautiful that when we follow this inspiration, it happens with the speed of light. So in a whole weekend, the card deck came out, and it's really beautiful because they're all sacred geometry codes. So they interact with your subconscious, and your soul and your higher self know what to do with them. So they each have a unique code, and you can just look at the image, but they also have different messages, and it's really a deepening spiral of the book. Because that is what I like. In this time, I'm all about embodiment, but embodiment is not per se knowing with the mind. Embodiment is feeling, experiencing, knowing with every cell of your body, and that's what we're being invited into. And that's not in, like, also for me, it's like before I was constantly searching for the answers outside of myself, and searching for new teachings and yes, we get beautiful codes out of them and we get inspiration, but it's not per se that one teaching is the truth. No, we are being invited in this time and space to find our own truth and to find our own wisdom that is stored within ourselves. And yes, these books can spark something, but then there is, like the onion, we are being invited to go into this deepening layer. And that's what I loved. Like, I'm reading my book every month new, and really deepening these codes. And that was the invitation of the card deck, because they help you spiral in different topics of, like, maybe this time my inner child needs more healing, or my divine feminine is ready to rise into new heights, or there are sacred codes that want to be shared. And
Oh,
in
I
that,
love
we
that one.
deepen our
That one is
understanding.
gorgeous.
Oh, now I've lost let's see. Yeah, this one. I can it's the gratitude card. So to embrace more gratitude in our lives and to see what happens there. And it's really beautiful, because then we are going into this embodied experience where we understand with every cell of our body, with every part of our being. And that's also what I've learned throughout my different challenges in my life. When a couple of years back, I had a burnout. I changed some things in my life, but the moment I was healthy again, all my old programming came back because I didn't change it at the root of the cause. And now, a couple of years later, when I got a chronic illness, it was really my soul asking me, like, okay, now it's time for a halt. But the interesting thing in that was that I was being asked to go deeper within myself. And when we do that, beautiful things start to awaken, and then we truly get the shift. But then it's also by really, like, if you see your cells, your body, like this whole field that is part of you, you really take it out at the root, and then it doesn't influence your future anymore. And it's really understanding that is in the deeper understanding, or in the deeper spiral. Or like, if you see the onion, sometimes we take, like, if we see a trauma, sometimes we take out the outer circle and we think, now it's done, yes, I'm ready, finished, I've healed it. But then we notice that as we move forward, there is a deepening spiral that wants to be seen. And this time and space, and sometimes it's very challenging, but we are being invited to see the root, or the center of this onion, because that is what the true elevation is asking for us. And that's where the whole Flower of Love lineage is stepping forward, because we need love. We need to feel safe. We need to feel like nourished in every cell of our body to fully let these walls go down and to go into the center of the onion. So I really love the onion to come forward in this space, because there is power. There's power in no longer denying our shadows. There's power in no longer denying our inner child that wants love and that wants to be seen and that wants to be like everything it didn't receive when we were growing up. Because that we truly elevate every part of us instead of with the old paradigm, like, okay, I'm moving forward, but I'm still holding this bag of weight and I need to move it with me. And somehow I keep stuck and moving in the same spirals. No, this time is really about facing and knowing that it's okay. Like these layers, they just want to be acknowledged. And by that, things open up. So it's really what I love about these codes. They help in multiple ways because a lot of these things, like they're hard to express. And that's what I love about light language and these sacred codes. They really help you in different levels of your being, so in different levels of your onion, to take the root out. Because some things we can't even understand with our minds. Like as a child, we experience certain things, or sometimes even of past lifetimes. And then we can try to, okay, I need to fix this, but we don't even know where the root of that energy was created, or it was in such a subconscious layer that we don't understand. And it's really co-creating with all these different parts. So that's what I'm excited about these codes, and they really help you to really deepen in yourself. And so.
Well, and the onion kept speaking to me before we even went live. I was just like, it's the different layers. But your platform and your book is called Flower of Love. It's the different layers, right? Because you got to put the seed in, you got to plant the seed, then the bud grows, and then the flower grows, and the petals grow. So it's different layers again, right? It's the different layers of life. And for the onion, the different layers, when you get right to the center and the root cause, like you said, you had to go to the root cause to heal yourself, right? Well, the flower had to go to the root cause of the seed to grow itself. So, sometimes, how they make those videos where they show how everything grows and then they reverse it and they shrink it all and that's almost like the layers of onions, right? Yeah. And it's in the middle. That root cause is right in the middle, that little slice of onion that's in the middle. And when you cut an onion, you cry and you don't know why you're crying, because it's the different layers, right? You're cutting through those layers. We got to look at life and food and flowers and nature at the different layers, right? And it's like the caterpillar, the butterfly. That's why I love that card with the butterfly on it. And I got butterflies on. I got butterfly earrings. I just felt right away connected to that card. And it's the gratitude, right? The gratitude of meeting each other and connecting with one another. So, Kim, I want to get into the Flower of Love. How did you get that title? How did you create that book? How did that book come about? How long did it take? All that good stuff.
Yes. Well, it was just a divine download. So I never really thought I'm going to write a book, but somehow I got the inspiration and I committed to myself. So it was in 2021. I took a time, I was my guidance, my inner inspiration was guiding me for 2 weeks to sit 2 hours with myself and to just let every energy that wanted to flow through. And in that, beautiful channelings came. So I recorded the channelings, and after a couple of channelings, I understood it was a book. But it didn't came in as chapter 1 or 2. It was like a whole, first maybe chapter 16 and then 8. So, but in the end, in 24 hours, the whole book came through. And then, of course, the whole editing comes and it needs to come in the right order and all of that. So within a year, my book was out and sharing with the world. But it's really beautiful. At first, I thought, okay, I download these codes and bring them into the world, and that is it. But since I brought them onto paper, then the real growth starts, because then we suddenly need to go over these layers, like who am I to share these codes? And so you need to go through also the lifetimes maybe where we were killed for sharing our wisdom and for sharing our voice and our truth. And there's something to bring it onto paper, but there's another thing in publishing it and bringing it into the world, because now it's suddenly tangible for the rest, like it's a legacy you leave. So for me, the real growth started after I channeled these codes and after the book came out, because then I was really being invited to embody everything that was being shared. And it's really about facing your inner garden. So if you would see your subconscious layers as your inner garden, and there are so many weeds growing there that we don't even understand where they are coming from, but they are a vibration in our field. That is, if you see the law of manifestation, it is sending out a vibration and it's attracting certain experiences into our life that we sometimes even don't know. but the world around us mirrors our beautifully what is happening within us. But it's really starting with the awareness, like, okay, if I get challenged, if I get triggered, it's not to hold me back, but there's a part of me that is asking attention with love to bring that back into harmony. And when we do that, it can open up and suddenly we create space. And that's what I love about the garden analogy as well. When we take out weeds, we suddenly allow the flowers we want to grow. We allow our dreams to blossom because we allow the hindering energies to be taken out. But it's not with hard force, because that's the old paradigm way where maybe you have a weed and you try to pull it out with hard force, but then a lot of the little roots, they stay there because we do it with so much hard force that like it breaks and it cracks, and that's the same with us. This time is really inviting us to see these weeds with compassion and with love, and to invite them to come out. And then suddenly you see that it opens up and it expands. And most of the time, the traumatic elements in our field, they hold wisdom. They hold power. They hold a voice that is ready to be expressed. But it's only through the softness. It's almost if you see like a wall. If you try to make a wall go down from the outside, it doesn't work. It needs to go from the light within. And when the light within is ready, it just opens its doors and it shares its wisdom because it feels safe enough. And that's really the flower of love. When I download these codes, it was really also in my deepest despair, in my time of chronic illness, where I reconnected with these codes, and they really supported me to believe in love again, and to believe in possibilities, and love, not per se in love from another soul, but really the love within ourselves, the love of the universe, the guidance that is within us, the field of infinite possibilities. So it's really inviting us to expand. And the book guides you through a beautiful transmission. So there are light codes intertwined between the pages. And so as you read through it, it's not only your mind that understands, but it's also your soul and your field that expands, and it is being invited to step into that next level. So there are beautiful activations, and but it's for me as well, embodiment. It's an ongoing journey, and it's really beautiful, because what I notice is, like before, if maybe a challenging moment would happen, let's say it cost me a week to come back to harmony, but now I can shift the energy in just seconds. And in that, we don't take it into our future. It's understanding that our thoughts and our words and our actions, they hold power. Yeah. But also where we choose to focus so if I'm constantly in fear, I will also plant seeds, or in the end, I plant weeds into my future. And it's not to hold you back, and it's not to create even more fear, but it's to empower you. Because when I have beautiful thoughts in this moment, when I have loving, compassionate thoughts, that's what I'm planting for the future. And those will become beautiful flowers. Those will be flourishing energies. So it's really, I think it's really coming back to this space of inner empowerment and knowing what we can do. But it's really by me following this initial inspiration, the whole lineage came through. But it was not like, okay, I'm going to create this. And this is also the name. It just it just came through in a beautiful way. Yeah.
So in Flowers of Love, it's an anthology, correct? Is the book an anthology, or is it you with all of your stories, Kim?
No, it's like, no, it really takes you on a journey on its own. So it starts with you could reconnect with the field of love consciousness. So it's like, I don't know, even like it's a transmission on its own. So it guides you through beautiful activations and beautiful awarenesses. And so it's not, my story is not in it, because it's a channeled message. So it's really the Flower of Love Council that shares the codes, and it shares their wisdom, and it's really beautiful. So at the beginning, I share a little short story of mine, and then it's the whole channeling that came through in 24 hours. So you get beautiful activations that all, like, again, coming back to the onion, because it's also remembering that we are divine wholeness, we are oneness. It's always there. But a lot of the layers we have placed on top of it are of our parents, of society, of the traumas. So it's coming back, like it's peeling away these layers to come back to our pure essence. But it's really understanding that sometimes we start to doubt ourselves, or why am I here, or I'm not good enough, or I don't belong here. But it's understanding when we came here to the earth with our seed of light, that was pure, and that's still intact. Whatever has happened in your life, however traumatic your life has been, that light within you is still there. But sometimes we need to peel away a couple of layers. And that's what the book helps you with the conscious awareness, but also the deepening layers. So I get sometimes beautiful stories that people read a certain chapter or an activation, and they start to cry, and they feel like this immense expansion that is happening, but it's not always in the understanding like of a conscious situation, or it's really this deepening coming home within yourself. And
Well, it kind of comes back to that onion, right? I know we're
yeah,
talking a lot about
I
onions.
think that you brought in a beautiful thing. Yes.
But you talk about society and parents and
Yeah.
siblings and all of that. And you know, as an onion builds, the layers get thicker and thicker and thicker,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that's how life is. It gets heavy sometimes. So you got
Yes.
to slice away. And sometimes you have to remove that layer. You have to remove it and shrink it and start again. And it's okay to start over again. It's okay to begin and plant a seed again. But that inner child is always within yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love about the tea, is because the tea is the inner self. And
Mhm.
that's why I ask for words.
Yeah.
I don't serve the beverage. I serve a different type of tea, because
Yeah.
we all have an inner child within us. It doesn't matter what race you are or what country you're from. We
Yeah.
all have inner children in us, because we were all born with that seed within us, right? And
Yes.
unless we understand that seed and we give that power to the seed, the inner child, and heal that inner child, go right down to the root cause again,
Yeah.
we're stuck, right? And
Yeah.
the layers get thicker and thicker, and then the onion grows and it gets bigger, and then we have gigantic onions. You know, we have
Yeah.
these different types of onions, and
Yeah.
I- but it goes back to the flowers as well, because there's so many different flowers out there, and
Mm.
they each have their own layers as well.
Yeah.
And trees, they grow different branches. You know, it all goes back to the circle of life.
It is. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what I really liked about the flower of love, is that it goes back to the circle of life. It brings you right back down to the seed. uh
Yes.
you know, um there was one
But
word that
that
I
is what love does, because love brings you back to truth, not the
right.
truth, but your truth. So sometimes love will be right in your face because it will mirror you like, okay, this inner child part of you or this traumatic challenge part wants to be seen, wants to be acknowledged, and it keeps asking attention until you are ready to see it. But it will also show you your possibilities, your purpose, your mission, your wisdom, your guidance. Because what we're all here, like, there's something unique. Each and every one of us is here to embody. There's something unique you took with you when you came here
Yep.
to the earth in your seed of creation. There are codes ready to awaken, and it doesn't matter in which way, because some are being guided to write a book, others to create a beautiful podcast, but some are like sharing their codes when they're helping people as a cashier, or there are so many ways, but there's something unique that only you can share. And that is truly unpeeling the layers of how society wants you to be, and how your parents and how the school system has brought you to, okay, you need to be like everyone else. You need to be like, no, go within and discover how you were as an inner child. What excites you? What makes you happy? What makes you spark? What makes you, there's wisdom there, and it's allowing ourselves to follow that. Because that's also a thing most of us have learned, like, okay, we need to be serious and we need to have a goal and we need to work and all of that, our education. But somehow the element of joy has been taken out of it. But joy is a guiding force on our journey. Follow your joy sparks, because they are part of your mission, of your purpose, of what you're here to bring. They bring expansion to your soul, and that is a message. When we feel excited, that is a message. Follow that. So yeah, I think that's really
Well, it's following that intuition, right? Following that gut.
yes.
And, you know, and when somebody tries to talk you into something and your gut is saying, nee,
Yeah.
don't do it,
Yes.
listen to your gut, because, well,
Yeah.
then you suffer the consequences if you don't listen to yourself, right?
And then we learn something new. Yes. Yeah.
Lesson learned, right?
Yes, that.
So,
Yeah.
Kim, I want to go into your tea, because
Yeah.
you brought in the word embodiment, and that is one of your words that you gave me. So you gave
Yeah.
me teaching, embodiment, and ascension.
Ascension. Yes.
Ascension. So let's get into those words. Why did you give me those three words?
Because for me, like, I am guided from my, like, it has multiple dimensions. So teaching, embodiment, ascension. First, it was about me embodying more of my codes. So unpeeling the layers that were not me and coming back to my true self. And now that I've reconnected to these codes, I am here to hold space for others to do the same. And that's really, embodiment is about almost like practice what you preach. So in that, because I've reconnected to that part, I get to guide others. And ascension for me, because it's this journey again, this cycle. Like we in meditation, for example, in meditation we rise to new heights and we awaken more of our wisdom. But in the end, we don't live in meditation. we live here on earth, and I, as a mom, need to do the dishes and the household, and I'm standing at the schoolyard and everywhere. But this time and space is inviting us to embody our wisdom in every space I am in. And that is about ascension for me, because it's like a spiral. Like I'm going into meditation, collecting new codes, but then I'm being invited. So that's ascension for me. And then I'm being invited to embody that wisdom everywhere I go. So not per se in my speaking, but just in my energy, just in my presence, just in the actions that I do, in the words. And I think that's how the new earth is being created and is inviting us to do. Like, again, not to knowledge with our mind, but to know with every cell of our body, and to be the example. So not only like, because it's very easy, and that's where a couple of years back, where the shift is now from then, like a couple of years back, yes, I had this magical experience in meditation, and I could feel so free and just like, okay, like myself. But then I came back to the earth, and then I was again in my body and doing groceries and all of that, and suddenly I felt like disconnected again, or I felt alone, or I felt. And now we're being invited to really take all of that energy, all of that wisdom into every cell of our body, every part of our being, so that we feel that connection wherever we are, because we are always connected with ourselves, with Mother Earth, with the universe. But it's time to remember that again, and to really share that in every space we're in. So now when I'm at the schoolyard, I'm just vibrating this energy, and some people resonate with it, and it's not per se in words, and some feel challenged, because that's also the power of love. When I embody love, some people will get challenged by my light, but I don't longer see that as something that is like I hold space with love, and they can have their energy. And that is beautiful, because in that they can rise and they can elevate. And instead of me responding to the trigger, or but for me, it's really about, okay, not only, because sometimes that's like, okay, when I would sit on a mountain, it's very easy to feel very peaceful. If I would sit there and nothing is happening and I have no obligations, that feels wonderful. But then we go back into life, and we have our house, and we have our, like, everything we're doing, and our beautiful missions, and it's really taking this space of, okay, I being that everywhere, in every conversation, in every action, coming back to our truth and going within for guidance and support. And I think that's really the invitation for everyone, in our own unique way, to be the difference, and to be more loving and compassionate, because everyone is going through this huge elevation, whether conscious aware of it or not. Like the frequencies on the earth are changing. If you look at like the Schumann resonance, it's showing the spikes, and that does something with our system. And it really invites us to look sometimes at our deepest traumas, because they're ready to be healed. But in that, it's also honoring, like when you see people around you, don't know what is happening within them. So be compassionate, be loving, be open, because sometimes the stories that are happening behind the doors, or that are happenings in people's own space, are sometimes very traumatic. So it's really inviting us to hold space with love and compassion. And
Well, and that's the thing, right? If somebody's going through something heavy and we come in with our light, it
Yes.
challenges the darkness, because they're going through a hard time right now. So they
Yes.
don't want to see light. They don't want to feel light. They don't want to feel, so it's that hitting the wall, right?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
opening and closing a door, right? You're trying to open the door and they're like, no, I don't want it open right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where the challenge comes in with the lights, the light and the dark, is because another person might be going through something that we might not understand, or we might not know at the time. And if we come in and we just say, well, just cheer up and well,
Yeah.
maybe at that moment they can't cheer up. Maybe they're going through something so heavy that they can't share, and it's okay, because we need the balance and light. And, I say this all the time on Teatime, is we need the yin and the yang. We need the
Yes.
black and the white. We need, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Everyone has that in their story. We all have some heavy layers, and we all have some light layers, and we have some celebrations and some wins and all that.
Yeah.
I want to get into the channeling, because I haven't talked about this much on Teatime, is channeling. So
Yes.
how old were you when you first started
Well,
channeling?
yes. When I now
Say
look
that
back, I
5
did
times.
that already. Channeling, we're bringing in these codes. No, I think I think a lot of us, because channeling, it's allowing it comes in many forms. So it's allowing your inner inspiration, this guidance. For me, it's a flow that comes through to just happen. So when I now look back as a child, I did that fluently, but somehow I started to judge, or I started to think things about it, or I said certain things where the people around me said, okay, this is not truth, or this is not like, because they didn't understand the greater aspect of what was coming true. So it was really for me, like the last couple of years, also me committing to sitting with myself to channel the book, not per se knowing that it was going to be a book, but to take the time to just sit in meditation, in stillness with myself, and to make this commitment to, okay, whatever is ready, I am this vessel, show me what is aligned, and let it come through. So it's really about taking time to come back to you. And what I notice as well, when you are in moments of joy, or even when you are in love, or when you, like, we channel a lot of, like, everyone can channel, it's like this inspiration that comes in, but then the power is to stop the mind, because most of the time our mind starts to think like, okay, this is no logic, or I don't have facts to share that this is truth, or it starts to judge what is coming through, and then it stops. In the book as well, it gives a beautiful example, like our channeling capacities, and you can see it like a water tap that is open. But somehow, as a child, most of us, and also for me, we dim it because we start to judge it, or there are certain limitations that are happening around us. And then it's only this dripping water. And the moment we choose to connect with that through meditation, through just being aware of the sensations of our body, of our field, we slowly start to reconnect to that water tap and to the drips. And the more we listen to that, the more the tap opens again. And that was also for me, like, it didn't start in immediately channeling the whole book. It was in me holding space for whatever wants to come through to do so. And it opened up more and more, and now it's much easier. But sometimes it's like you really need to also hold space for your mind, because a lot of things, I know in the beginning, sometimes certain things came through and I thought, no, I'm not saying this, and then afterwards there were beautiful examples of that it was so aligned, but our mind just starts to interfere and says, okay, I'm not I know a certain moment in a one-on-one session we were talking about a bunny. And I thought, no, I'm not going to say bunny. But in the end, for that person, that bunny was so aligned and it was so perfect. But if I didn't, if I let my mind win, then it would have never come true, and it would have never opened the beautiful things that opened up. So it's really like, can you truly surrender to the flow that is coming through? Because we are so taught also to control our mind, to control our thoughts. And that again is asking love to hold space. So can you truly feel safe, feel how love supports you? So I always invite the Flower of Love Council to hold space. And in that, it's almost like, okay, I feel I have support, and I can open up, and I can, just like a beautiful flower, open. And then the flow just comes. But it's really being in the space of non-judgment and in the space of openness, and allowing that to come through.
Well, it's making that space to grow, right?
Yes.
Because if you're in this tight box and you have no room to move, you're going to push, and it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
Instead of opening it up and saying, you know what, I'm just going to grow a little over here. I'm going to grow this way. I'm going to grow that. You know, like a flower will grow in different ways. Like my rose bush outside, it's growing towards the building. And I'm like, no, go the other way.
Find the freedom, yes.
But the rose wants to grow this way, right? And it wants to come towards the building. And for me, I look at that and I say, well, there's something that this rose is bringing to the building. It's coming to the building for a reason, and that's how we grow as well, is we grow in different ways. And sometimes people will be quick to judge what they don't understand. And they'll say, well, why is she going that way? Like, why does she make it so complicated? Does she not see the other road? Well, maybe I do see another road that nobody else sees, and it's the way that branch needs to go, or that seed needs to grow, and water it sometimes, not water it, but society and programming systems have really tightened us up into that box, right, Kim? And it doesn't give us room to grow. No. Because society says, don't you dare grow. Don't you dare be different. Don't you dare go out of the box, stay in the box. And we need to really understand as ourselves, as that inner child, that inner seed, that we need to grow, and that we need to flow out of the blocks, and we need to be different. We need to stay unique. We go back to the onion. We got to be different.
It is. And follow our divine timing, because that's also what I noticed. If I now look back 10 years ago and you would have asked, like, how would your life look like, and what would you have wanted? it's more beautiful than I thought before, but it's totally different than what my mind thinks it needed to be. And I think for a lot of us, sometimes our mind has a vision like, okay, I need to be there, and that's what I need to manifest, and that's what needs to happen, and that will make me happy. But in the end, it's about the essential energy. So maybe like, for example, if you want to manifest a car, maybe the essential energy you want to experience is the freedom of just feeling safe, that you know everything is working. It's not per se the car, it is the freedom or the safety in yourself. And it's coming back to the universe works in divine ways. So it's not per se this like, I always love to share the example as well as people that are breaking world records.
Yep.
People thought it was never possible, but somehow someone had a seed, had a vision, has a dream, and kept on watering this energy. Like, I know I can reach this. I know. And suddenly, when you notice, when a world record is broken, suddenly more people are being able to reach that record, where before it was thought not possible. And we are co-creating this new earth, everyone in their own unique way. And we are being invited to create, to birth, to be in new ways. And that is beyond our comfort zone. That is beyond what we thought were possible. That is beyond what our mind thinks, because our mind is programmed to keep everything the same, because our mind knows we survived, even if the same is very uncomfortable, even if the same is challenging. And this time is really, and that's again embodied ascension, taking your higher wisdom, your knowing into your body and really following this guidance of your heart that will lead you into more beautiful things than you were thought possible. Because every manifestation we think with our mind, we've already seen somewhere. But that's not our truth. That is not our path. That is not what our soul wants. Our soul wants new experiences. It wants something greater, something, but that is also, again, navigating from something different than our mind. It's going within our heart. And that is most of the time the most difficult journey, from the mind space to the heart, and really allowing our heart to speak and our heart to lead and our heart to express. Because by that also emotions come, like excitement and enthusiasm, love, but also sadness. And suddenly we need to feel everything that we weren't ready to feel. But there's so much wisdom in that. I think if we at school would have been taught, like, okay, your emotions have a message. Like, they're sharing with you if something is out of alignment or if something is not in alignment. But we have been so numbed there. But it's a part of our soul that is speaking to us, our body, our emotions. Also, when I got sick, like when I read the messages of what is happening in your body, like, it's telling a story. And it's coming back to, okay, like, this is the only thing you have your whole life. Why neglect it? Why blame it? Why not listen to what it wants to share with you? Like, we put so much energy and time in friends out there, and that's beautiful. But why? This is something that will stay with us forever. So that's embodiment as well. Listen, your emotions have power. Like, even if you have illnesses or things that are happening, there is wisdom there. There's something your soul wants to share with you through these experiences. And yeah.
Well,
So
and
really
it's the different journeys, right, Kim? Like, when society has told us to be a certain way. It's just like this success story, right? If you don't do this, you're not successful. If you don't do that,
yeah.
for me, success is getting out of bed. If somebody is dealing with mental illness and they struggle and they get out of bed and they take that first 5 steps, that's success.
Yes.
We need to really start celebrating each other and one another, but not in a way that the competition and the comparing we all have our own stories. We're all unique. We're all different onions. We're all different flowers. We're all here
Yes.
to make a difference. And so many people are dying with lost souls because they're scared of their light, because the light hasn't been taught. And you brought something really good up, Kim: emotions. We do not teach emotions in school, and we should.
Yeah.
They have so many anger management classes out there, but understand why you're angry.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the emotion behind the anger, you're never going to get over that anger.
No.
It's going to be in that bottle, right? You're going to be that bottler. I'm a bottler. I hold and hold and hold, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've been working on emotions over feelings. There's a difference, right? I
Yeah.
think emotions should be taught in schools.
Yeah.
For all of the listeners out there, how do you guys feel about this? Like, do you feel that emotions need to be taught in school as well? Because, this is something that we need to start teaching, that we all are unique in our own way. And we're
Yeah.
all that flower of love. And love comes in different ways. It's not just relationships.
No.
It's helping somebody that's on the street, saying hello, smiling to somebody. That's love. That's giving love. and we
Yeah.
need to start really giving that love. You also mentioned something, Kim. You mentioned the word manifest. I want
Mhm.
to talk about manifest because there's a lot of people out there that don't understand manifestation. So, can you share a little bit about manifestation?
Yeah, well, in my energy and what I've experienced, because I know a lot of people have different point of view of manifestations, but for me it's about the essential energy. So the book as well, if you have a certain desire, a thing you want to manifest in your life, a thing you truly want to experience, or but then it's inviting you to spiral deeper. Okay, if I manifest, like maybe for a house, maybe you want a new house. If I manifest this house in my life, if I get to experience it, how do I feel? Why do I want this new house? What does it bring me? Does it bring me joy, excitement? Do I feel like a lot of gratitude? Does it like does it have more space? Or like for a lot of people it represents different things, and it's again the onion spiraling deeper to, okay, what is the essential energy of what you are trying to experience. And it's also understanding the cycles. Each time we set a desire out, like I want to manifest a new house, then the whole world is going to conspire to bring that manifestation in alignment with your truth. But you are being invited to grow through that, because that's also how manifestation works. If there is no resistance in your field, in your onion, if there are no layers of illusion and doubt, you would manifest it immediately. Like I always love, like how Abraham and Esther Hicks, they talk about buttons. So if we talk about buttons, a lot of people don't have resistance about buttons. So then suddenly you find a button on the street because there's no resistance in our field. But it's the same like with a house. Maybe you want a very pricey house for your mind. The universe, your life, will show you certain experiences that need to be healed, that need to be seen, that need to be loved, for you to come into vibrational resonance with that. So it's honoring the cycle of growth. It's also for me, when I channeled this book, I thought, okay, this is amazing. But afterwards, I was going through a huge healing cycle where a lot of weeds needed to go out of my inner garden for me to be able to share these teachings with the world. And when you start to understand that, it's empowering, because each time I am being invited to stretch out of my comfort zone, I also know I'm being challenged in a way. I maybe something happens, or but it's again my field asking me to clear or to witness these parts of me that are out of alignment with that. And it's really, yeah, I, for me it really empowers, because you know, like when challenges come up, it's not to hold me back, but it's to empower me to step into my next level. And that's again love helping me to look at with compassion with what is happening and with what is, yeah. So manifestation for me, it's coming in vibrational resonance with the essence of what you want. And like I know someone at one point said, okay, I really want a life partner. But in the end, they want someone that loved them unconditionally. And in her vision, it was a man, but she was not clear. And in the end, it was a dog that came into her life that brought her so much love. Like it was there every time she came home, and it didn't want anything of her. And it was just unconditional love.
Yeah.
And it's understanding, like, it's honoring our divine path. It's honoring our divine truth. And I think also, as you shared, I found a really beautiful, like the vision of success, like the old paradigm way of success is crumbling down because it's not in alignment. We're now being invited, I always love to share divine success. And divine success is feeling healthy, happy, having time to do what you love. It's not about working 80 hours a week and having a lot of money on your bank. No, it's like doing the things you love. That is true success. Like having beautiful souls around you, but most of it being healthy and happy and having energy. And it's really coming back to this deeper understanding of the gift and blessing that is in each and every moment. And I think everyone tuning in your own unique way, we all have had our challenges and we all have had our struggles, but they make you aware of the blessings of a beautiful sun, of the blessings of this now moment, sharing this beautiful conversation with you. And it's understanding that that is the true abundance and that is the true gift. And when we see that, suddenly we notice even more abundance because as a butterfly flies by, or we find a button on the street, but it's coming back to this joyful, like even in challenging moments, understanding there's always something to be grateful for. The light that comes through, or maybe a beautiful rainbow, or yeah. And if you do that, you make your life so much more fun and joyful, and beautiful things open up because we stop resisting, we stop controlling, we step into flow and into, yeah, the stream of life. And our divine guidance, again, channeling our energy, comes through and supports us, instead of we saying, no, it needs to look like this, and I keep on holding on and I'm not ready and it needs to. But in that, maybe what you want is much more magical, or what is aligned for you. But we keep holding on to this second best or maybe third best because that's what our mind wants. But yeah, so surrender with love to your truth and your light and your unique seed and your unique flower and whatever. Yeah. So
I love how this tea time is just flowing, because I have questions here. I ask all my guests all the time, and I asked you what your favorite color was, and you said rainbow, and you
yeah.
had just mentioned the rainbow, and I'm
Oh,
just like it just flows, man. Like I'm just gonna
yeah.
sit and enjoy this tea, because this tea is just
Yes.
magically flowing beautifully. But before we get into the rainbow color, you mentioned buttons, and when you say buttons, as a little girl, I collected buttons,
Oh,
and
really?
and
Wow.
and that and for me, I found that it was the holes that were amazing. They
Yeah.
they brought adventure. You could jump into one hole with a thread, go into the next hole, go into,
Yes.
and that's how life is, right? You jump into the hole like a rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland again, Miss Liz,
Yeah.
and then you have this magical adventure, right?
Yeah.
Where you got to look within the button, you got to look within yourself,
Yeah.
and then the color comes out, and then the rainbow is there to
Yes.
enjoy. So let's find out about this rainbow. Why is that your favorite color, a rainbow?
For me, it's really about embracing everything. Like we need the sun and the rain to see all the colors of life. We need sometimes the shadows and the light to fully experience we are alive. We need the sadness, like the anger, because the anger, there's also power in our anger. And we need the excitement. And for me, the rainbow represents the wholeness of us, the uniqueness of who we are. And I love as you share the buttons, because for a lot of us, we've lost wonder. As a child, we find everything magical, but somehow as an adult, we take everything for granted. But how for granted is it that our body just heals itself when it's possible? That we can just experience the beautiful sunrise and all of it. We can enjoy a cup of, like a butterfly, how it flies. Why did we lose the wonder? Because when we can see the wonder, like it's making magic a normal thing. It's making wonder a normal thing, because sometimes we hear these healing stories and we can say, yeah, that's just a wonder. That's just one soul happening. But if we allow ourselves to tap into the greater version of ourselves and we allow ourselves to tap into love, we can bring wonder back as a normal instead of seeing it. But it's looking through a different lens. And that's what really love has empowered me to do. Like, not take everything for granted and really go and look for the gems and look for the beautiful things and look for, like, because the universe as well, it's giving us signals every time, but are we ready to see it? Like if you see double numbers on your phone, or you see like a message on the internet and it resonates so with you, we can let our mind lead and say, okay, this is just a random thing. Or we can just let our soul lead, that is excited and it says, yes, there's another guidance on my path, another breadcrumb that is leading me forward. And it's again coming back to this childlike wonder. And that's what I love about rainbows. It brings the child in me. Like everywhere I see rainbows, it just brings a smile, and it's something magical. Like also, it's not
Well, it's
something you
like the
can
Lucky
touch.
Charms, right? The pot of
It
gold.
is. Yes, it is. Yeah, in so many ways. But I think also we are being invited to alchemize our shadows into gold within ourselves, and to really embrace everything that we are. So for me, it represents so many things. And it's also, I love all the colors, because it's the full spectrum of everything that is life, that is our being, that is what we're able to see with our senses. But there are so many more colors happening beyond what our eyes can see. And yeah, but there's just something magical. For me, it opens magic. So that's really, yeah.
Oh, I can see you channeling your inner child right now, and just lucky, on St. Patrick's Day, I always go and buy myself a box of Lucky Charms.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
And I think of rainbows when I do that. And I
Yeah.
think of, as a child, we were told at the end of the rainbow, there's a pot of gold, right? There's the
Yes.
little leprechaun,
Yes.
and it brought the magic, it brought the imagination. Can you
Yes.
ever catch that little leprechaun? Can you ever get
Yes.
that pot of gold?
Yeah.
And then you start chasing the rainbow, and then the rainbow starts to go away.
Yes.
So you wait for the next one to come, and then the next one comes, and you're doing the same thing, right? You're getting excited. You're having that joyfulness in there. Uh,
And letting yourself dream, because that's a powerful thing as well. Like when you dream, daydream, when you fantasize about what you want, you're planting seeds of your desires in your future. Because it's also understanding we can only have one thought. So we can choose fear, or we can choose dreaming or love. And if you choose dreaming or love long enough, that is what you're going to manifest into your future. And it's really understanding like we have this choice and sometimes we get challenged. Beautiful. But then it's having the resilience to bounce back quickly. It's not about not ever being like I'm being challenged all of the time, but it's the resilience to bounce back, like not taking that challenge with me for the whole week. No, choosing to shift it in just a couple of seconds. And that's the empowerment, about taking our embodied wisdom into every vessel and embodying it in every moment. And that really empowers us so that we can see like, okay, when that happens, okay, I have the power, like going back on this chase of this beautiful butterfly, like this beautiful rainbow, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So give yourself permission to dream. That's the thing as well. As a child, a lot of us, like at school, don't daydream. Why not? That's how we break world records. There was someone having a dream about that world record and they visioned it. They saw themselves reaching that. Like if you look also at athletes, they constantly think about their goal. They constantly see themselves already experiencing that into their lives. And that's how they manifest that. Of course, with hard work and dedication and focus. But a powerful part as well is like they know the power of their mind. Do I stay in fear and lack and limitation, or do I choose expansion? Do I choose to believe in the infinite possibilities? And they are there. And when you do that, it opens up your field. And suddenly, indeed, the wonder comes up and you get to play again and you get to be excited again and dream outside of the box, because we're not meant to stay in this box. So start with the awareness, start with the thought, start with dreaming. And then you bring it into your physical reality by bringing that in, like also in conversations. We have so been taught to talk about everything that is wrong instead of talking about our dreams, instead of talking about what is going right, instead of celebrating like, yes, I've been able to come out of bed and I've been able to see the sunlight. Celebrate that, because by celebrating that, you're bringing that energy into your field, into your energy, into your inner garden, and that will be your future. And yeah, there are so many powerful things to share there.
And I can feel the passion. And that was the word you gave me, passionate and driven.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. This tea is just flowing. Like the universe is doing its thing. I'm not even going to argue the universe. I'm going to just let it flow and let it come. So your words that you gave me was passionate and driven to describe yourself, Kim. And I can see the passion and I can see the driven. And you're bringing so many good things to the table today for the listeners and for myself as well. You know, we're talking about the layers of onions. We're talking about buttons. We're talking about rainbows, things that we should be celebrating, the simple things, the little things. Bring back the imagination. You're going to bring back a lot of good storytelling as well. You're going to be getting people engaged in reading again. You know, I really am enjoying this tea time so much, and we're almost at the end here. So I want to get some shout outs for your book and your website and all that. So if you could spell out your website for the audio listeners and your book and all that, where they can find all that good stuff.
You can find my book on floweroflove.love. There are beautiful blogs on floweroflove.com, but the most of the things of my book are on floweroflove.love. You can also find Activating the Flower of Love on all the major online and offline bookstores and Amazon and all of that. So if you like, and sometimes it's easier to type in my name somehow, Kim van de Sande. It's a Dutch name, but then you find it more easy. Or Soul Love, because when you find Soul Love on Amazon, it also links to this book. So, and my card deck you can only find on my website, floweroflove.love. And there's also a fun pick a card option, like a digital one. I love that as well. Each morning, I just go to my website and I just do pick a card, and it shows all of the card decks and whatever card is aligned for you in that moment. So yeah, I would say check it out.
Well, look at that. You even get to pick a card. You get to play. And I love when we get to play, right? We don't play enough as adults. We're so serious. We got to really just loosen up. You know, and thank you for bringing the button in, because the button is something that I really enjoy doing as a little child, was finding different buttons, because they had different unique looks and feels and textures. And so let's collect buttons. If you're collecting buttons, Miss Liz would like to know, and Kim would like to know. I want to really
share what kind of buttons you find the next couple of hours, days. Yes.
Right. Let's all start collecting buttons and do a button collection on Tea Time. You know, we just never know where Miss Liz will go next with the buttons. But Kim, I really want to thank you for joining me today. And I want to thank Paul again for connecting us together. Let's stay connected and let's keep playing and let's keep having some fun. Let's see who catches that rainbow, because I'm out for a good catch if you
Yeah.
are.
Thank you.
Um, and I want to thank all the listeners and viewers that have tuned in today. Thank you again on Instagram for all of you viewers that are tuning in. I really appreciate you guys as well. If you guys would like to know more about Miss Liz's Tea Times, check out Miss Liz's website, www.misslizsteatime.com. And check out Miss Liz's YouTube channel. Get on over there, subscribe. And we're going to be starting a whole new month in July. So the press release should be out by tonight. I'm hoping, fingers and toes crossed. Cross your toes, cross your fingers, and then you'll get to see the cue. And we're going to play a little bit in July. We're going to have some fun. So,
Yay.
Kim, thank you again. Flower of Love, check her out. Check out what she does. Check her book out. Check and go pick yourself a card. You just never know. You might get a message that you've been longing to hear. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. And we'll be back same time, same place. And we'll do this all over again and serve you a new TEA Miss Liz style.